Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities in Miniature. It's one thing on this channel that you can always count on being constant is my triumvirate of three favorite types of models. Those would be samurai, barbarians, and lizards. And it just so happens that recently Cast and Play put out a real great set of lizard folk. And our little diminutive friend here at almost a 6x zoom, if I can even get him in focus now, really highlighted to me the fact that, number one, I'm having a hard time keeping him in focus, but number two, these were just some fun, simple models. And simple not in the sense that, it's like very simplistic in its design. It's simple as in they're not in overtly dynamic action poses, and for that, I was really happy to see. Now, don't get me wrong, they had plenty of action-y type heroic lizard men and sneaky assassin types, but the thing about this set that I really enjoyed were all of the non-combatant ones. It's not something you usually see. And I know Cast and Play has done a variety of various sets, and that's kind of, I think, one of the things that I really appreciated about this was, over the years, and I've been doing this for a few years now, just on the 3D printing of miniatures, and a lot of these companies have, been going at it on a monthly basis for years and years now. And it's the fact that while there is oversaturation for a lot of various subjects, I feel like when you kind of branch off and try doing something different, you are going to find your audience, and maybe it's an audience of one like me, but I want to feel that that's not the case. I want to say that, there are other people out there that do enjoy this stuff, in that creators should take risks and do something creative and different. And, if it means I'm going to be posting videos of your stuff as a reward, I don't know if that's worth much, because it's not like they get much views, despite the amount of subscribers continuing to go up, which is odd, but whatever. It's just, to me, I love seeing people do something different with a common theme. And that's why, when I initially first started really getting into 3D printing and seeing people kind of take the basic concept of like a Space Marine and just go into town with it. And they've evolved, mutated, transformed into so many different things at this point. That's just awesome to see. And there's been so many new creative types coming up because of that. And so I love seeing even established groups of artists and creators like Cast and Play take something mundane, take something that they've done before, and really try and do something different with it. And I will be the first to admit that the style may not be for everybody. It's a bit cartoony, and for that, I absolutely love it. I also love the fact that, they're just kind of fun, whimsical figures. And if you've noticed and watched enough of my stuff, you'll notice that I do tend to focus on a lot of that. And it's not just like we're going to make it different for the sake of being different. It's well-made different. And that's why I appreciate guys like Cobra Mode, Dragon Trapper's Lodge, doing something different, not just for the sake of being different, but having fun and being creative. And to me, that's why this release really resonated with me, besides the fact that I love lizards. And it's all sorts of different lizards, which is even more fun. Now, unfortunately, one of the big criticisms I have of this set is that a lot of said lizards do kind of go the route of Robin Hood, Disney-esque animal people where nobody seems to be bothering to wear pants anymore. Or the Ninja Turtle route, I guess, if you want to be a bit more modern with your takes on that. And that's not to say that actually all of the figures in the set didn't bother to wear clothes. I'm also quite impressed that all those details managed to come through okay. As I've mentioned recently, because I haven't done any 3D printing videos in a while, having upgraded my computer finally after years and years, I had really gotten everything dialed in, and stupidly, didn't really take good details about my settings on the computer prior to this that I gave to my daughter, because she needed one. And I deleted all of the programs and registry data and information on it, so she basically had a clean slate. So I have no idea. I'm working on it. It'll be a work in progress. And sadly, I did run into a bunch of errors with certain models. And again, it's kind of cool just seeing, we'll get to the errors in models in a sec here, but the variety of size of the figures I thought was kind of cool. Now again, I'm focusing mostly on the non-combatant types. Looks to be like a traveling monk adventurer. Go with the chameleon pondering over his map there. I'm trying to find a base that will actually hold the model I've got in my hand. Here we go. Either that or it's an adventurer. Either one works, but again, I will get some comparisons so you guys get a good idea of where these things fall in terms of scale. They do get bigger as well. We had some bouncers, which at least break the trope of not bothering to wear any pants. And I'll be honest, I'm probably going to get around to painting these guys first, just because they actually have clothing on. It always kind of bugs me when models can't bother to get dressed. So, just some fun stuff. A couple of the other merchant figures that they had. You know, as I said, they did have more combat types. This is one of the mercenary models. Impressed to see that the crossbow came off of the build plate intact. It's a bit more traditional human-sized model. A little horn-toed friend here. Definitely on the smaller scale. I've got these mantic dwarves here, so should give you a good idea. Whereas our mercenary friend is a bit taller. Don't worry, I'll grab all the other stuff in just a moment. Sadly, there were some warriors and assassins. I didn't bother with all of those, but every assassin I printed ended up with all kinds of fun print flaws, so his scabbard on his back didn't really print there, and I'm not sure what's going on with his toes. It's a gecko, I just realized. Again, you can see Blade didn't want to print out correctly. Not sure about his cloak there. Are you wearing pants? You are wearing pants. Hooray for you, my friend. Another one that lost one of his swords in the process, or the blade at least. Still has some supports there on his feet that need to be removed. Yeah, it's just kind of cool to see so many different takes on lizards, rather than the usual generic lizard man that we always see hunched over. I feel like I was goofing around with that one. That might not be a stock lizard man. But speaking of lizard men, I've mentioned this before. One of my favorite releases as a kid getting into tabletop miniatures was the Wasteland Raider set from Ral Partha. It was a box set. Had kind of a Saracen Arabic warrior on the back of a giant iguana or some kind of reptile. With lots of, you know, trappings and trimmings and goods strapped all around him. And he had like two little lizard men riding on raptors. And I loved that set. And I'll be honest, this model right here, when I saw it, I was like, oh my god, I have to print this. I hopefully won't break it. But I feel like I already did, because you can see here, maybe it's supposed to be that way, and I don't even know. There is a merchant on a big squawky bird, chocobo looking dude. But there's nothing on the rope. I don't know if that's my fault, if it printed wrong, if it's intentional. I'm super impressed that those reins survived. You can just see just all kinds of stuff going on there. And this is a hollowed out figure, in case you're curious. See the hole there. It's also very precariously balanced on those two thin legs, and that kind of gets me worried. And that's always the case. I'll probably have to build up some kind of sand around those toes just to give it some extra support. Maybe we'll put some other gear laying around next to it. I haven't made up my mind yet. But if you're curious just how big these things are, grabbing a GW Lizard Man, he's going to give him a what for? I have to say, I'm probably most eager to print. I already did print the merchants and adventurer types. So they're probably going to be my first choice. Grabbing a good old another reptile, one of the Children of the Flame here from Dragon Trapper's Lodge. Grabbing a couple other models here. And if we're going to talk about lizards and interesting little folks, we've got some Hanzaki and oh gosh, what were the ducks called? I don't even remember now, but these are both from Cobra Mode, who often is another purveyor of very unique and interesting character models. And I'll be honest, when I first saw these cast and play figures, these two models immediately jumped to my mind. One of the campaign critter, I don't remember what they were called. This is one of the Archon Dungeons and Lasers pets. What with all the luggage and baggage on him there. This guy was actually from Hordes. He was a Grimkin model, if I remember correctly, and I do not remember his name, but that top hat and those ruffles, he is dressed to impress. So I figure the fine debonair gentleman like that, he's absolutely going to need some company. Grabbing one of the larger models there. Figure why not grab one of Cast and Play's Lizardmen, one of their Dragonborn from the Guild set. Now, this guy was quite a fun model to paint, but I gotta give him credit, he is on a very large base. So, do keep that in mind. As they almost tower over him. And just because I had one handy, a Lizard Hero from Archvillain, I believe. Yeah. So, you know, I think the proportions definitely are in line with a lot of the other cast and play stuff. If you were to include them with a more traditional lizard army, I think that might be a challenge. If you're more on the tabletop RPG vein of things, you probably can get away with these folks. But if you're like me and just like collecting interesting lizard models, or dare I say barbarian samurai lizard models, that's like the ultimate triumvirate right there, right? I think you'll have a lot of fun with these. And like I said, I barely showed off all of them. There's quite a few I didn't even bother with yet. I can only paint or attempt to paint so much, and hopefully once I have my report cards for my students done, I can get back to that. It's been a good, long, hot minute, so hopefully keep an eye out for those Monday weekly painting progress videos that have not existed for like half of a year, but we'll try to get on top of that. So, with that said then, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we will see you back here soon. Bye-bye!